Say this line with me, all of us, out loud. Read this one for me, go. A strong mind without character is a weapon looking for a victim. Again, slower this time, let it judge us before we begin. A strong mind without character is a weapon looking for a victim. Take a deep breath. That sentence is not a slogan, it is a verdict. If your intelligence outruns your integrity, you are not a leader, you are a public hazard. You are disqualified. Write this down. Cliques love power. Communities survive on integrity. We will not choose virality over virtue. I am not impressed by your followers. I am measuring your follow-through. Don't tell me how many people you can attract. Tell me how many people are safe when you arrive. Leadership is not the ability to trend. Leadership is the discipline to be trusted. Trust is the currency of leadership, and from the first second today, I'm telling you, protect the account. Stop using the term, trust me. Make deposits, build the balance, because what took you 20 years to build can be lost in 20 seconds of unguarded appetite. Here is our core question, and I want you to write it in the margins of your mind. How do you develop unbreakable conviction without becoming arrogant or abusive? How do you build a mind like steel and keep a heart like clay, moldable, submitted, safe for people? It is possible, but not automatic. Knowledge puffs up, but love builds up, the scripture says. Your mind can inflate your ego while your love deflates. That is the danger. Intelligence can accelerate corruption if it is not contained by moral gravity. The faster your mind moves, the harder you'll crash if there is no weight in your soul. The heart is deceitful above all things. So don't trust your heart without law. Don't trust your brilliance without boundaries. Don't trust your gift without a guard. Let me paint a picture. A young strategist with a photographic memory, fictional but familiar, rises overnight. He can outtalk a panel, outthink a board, outmaneuver a competitor. He learns how to game the algorithm. He forgets to govern himself. He gains the world of attention and begins to lose his soul of intention. Direct messages at midnight, expense accounts with air, contracts with fine print that hides broken promises. He tells his team, trust me. The market applauds. The staff goes quiet. 3 months later, the headlines call for an investigation. He wasn't destroyed by ignorance. He was devoured by brilliance. Without breaks, don't clap, learn. A strong mind without character is a weapon looking for a victim. Sometimes the victim is your spouse. Sometimes the victim is your city. Sometimes the victim is your own future, bleeding under your gifted hands. Write this one down. Mental power without moral protection turns a leader into a public hazard. That's not poetry, that's a warning label. James, the brother of Jesus, said, not many of you should presume to be teachers, knowing that we who teach will be judged more strictly. Translation, the higher your voice, the heavier your responsibility. He that rules his spirit is greater than he that takes a city. If you can win a market, but you cannot master your appetite, you are not a leader, you are a risk. And I'm here as your mentor for these moments to build you so strong that you cannot be bought, you cannot be bribed, and you cannot be broken by applause. Write this down. Cleverness is not wisdom. Speed is not stability. Fame is not fruit. The problem with a quick mind is that it can justify anything. Your brain becomes your best defense attorney and your worst judge. You will explain yourself right into error. So I am putting shackles on your gift, and the shackles are called standards. We will bind your brilliance to a code that outlives you so that the people who follow you can live after you. Law is not the enemy of liberty. Law is the mother of liberty. Without law, your values scatter. Without values, your morals wobble. Without morals, your conscience goes mute. And then the smartest person in the room becomes the most dangerous. Read that again with me, go. The smartest person in the room becomes the most dangerous without character. Now, what are we going to do in this journey? Here is the structure. Write this down. First, we will define the difference between a mind like steel and a heart like clay. Second, we will establish the wiring that holds power law to values, to morals, to conscience, so your mind is leashed to something objective. Third, we will expose the 3 tests that break brilliant people appetite, fame, and power. Fourth, I will give you practices to forge an unbreakable mind without feeding your ego. Fifth, we will seal the container non-negotiable habits that make character durable in the dark. Sixth, if you slip, we will walk a restoration path from forgiven to trusted under authority, not under your PR team. We will end by commissioning you with concrete commitments to build the mind, guard the container, and protect the account. This is not entertainment. This is surgery. Read this one for me. Go. Protect the account. Let me speak to you like a father. Some of you are already in trouble. Your phone has things on it that would drain your balance in an instant if they surface. Your browser testifies against your public holiness. Your boardroom ethics do not match your bedroom conduct. Run for cover. Shut your mouth. Stop explaining. You are disqualified from speaking for a season until your life submits to discipline. Forgiveness is instant. Restoration is a process. Don't confuse mercy with trust. Trust is test over time. It is the only currency we spend in leadership, and you cannot print it in a crisis. You must earn it in quiet. Jesus himself was brilliant, 12 years old, confounding scholars, yet he submitted to his mother and Joseph and grew in wisdom and stature and favor with God and man. That is the motto, genius under governance. And when Peter, full of promises and puffed up courage, denied him 3 times, Jesus did not discard him. He restored him after breaking, after tears, after a meal on a beach, after a question that cut to the bone. Do you love me? Not, are you smart? Not, can you preach? Do you love me? Love is the leash on your gift. Love is the law that refuses to weaponize knowledge. Love is what keeps your mind from making victims. Write this commitment. We will not choose virality over virtue. In our homes, in our companies, in our ministries, we will measure success by safety. We will stop saying, trust me, and start living in a way that makes others say, I trust you. We will pursue conviction, not attention, clarity, not celebrity, obedience, not optics. If your plan does not protect the account of trust, it is not a leadership plan. It is a suicide note for your future. So here is our opening verdict and our hope. If your mind is mighty and your character is small, you are a threat. But if your mind is mighty and your character is tall, you are a shelter. The world is not looking for more fireworks. It is crying for more furnaces, places where power is refined by heat and pressure until it serves, not scorches. Today, we light the fire. Today, we put your brilliance in the crucible of truth. And when we are done, by God's grace and your obedience, you will be able to stand in the day of testing, and your name will be safe in other people's mouths. Write it down. Build the mind. Guard the container. Protect the account. Now, read our first line once more, and let it rule your decisions from this moment forward. Go. A strong mind without character is a weapon looking for a victim. Now let's define what we are building, because vague inspiration produces vague living. Write this down. Mind like steel, heart like clay. Read it for me. Go. Mind like steel, heart like clay. A strong mind is not just a high IQ. A strong mind is clarity under pressure. It is disciplined focus when the room is frantic. It is strategic thinking that keeps its shape when the heat is on. It is conviction that doesn't melt. The scripture says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, not by the inflating of your ego. Jesus set his face toward Jerusalem. That is steel direction that does not wobble when opinions scream. Daniel purposed in his heart not to defile himself. That is steel decision that survives a lion's mouth and a king's pressure. A strong mind is the ability to hold the line of truth in a storm of noise. Write this down. A strong mind does 3 things. 1, it sorts. It separates the urgent from the ultimate, the loud from the true. 2, it sees. It imagines outcomes before they arrive, seeing around corners without paranoia. 3, it stands. It refuses to trade convictions for convenience. That is why I call it steel. When you hit it, it rings. When the fire comes, it strengthens. When the load is heavy, it carries. But steel, in the wrong hands, will still injure. Without a safe container, steel is dangerous. Now, what is a heart like clay? Clay is not weak. Clay is moldable. Write this down. Strength without teachability is pride. Teachability is the humility that makes strength useful. A heart like clay is quick to repent, easy to correct, and slow to boast. The potter's wheel turns, the pressure comes, and instead of cracking under correction, you yield to be formed. God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. That means a soft heart gets the grace that a hard heart forfeits. Joseph had a heart like clay, alone in a house, no camera on him, propositioned by power. And he said, how can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? That is clay submitted to a law higher than hormones. Daniel opened his windows and prayed when prayer was illegal. That is, clay yielded to God, not to policy. Here is the distinction I need you to memorize. Write it down. A strong mind is capacity. Strong character is containment. Your abilities are only as safe as the container that holds them. Character is that container. Read it for me. Go. Your abilities are only as safe as the container that holds them. Character is that container. Character is not charisma. Character is not gift. Character is consistency in private. Character is a life aligned with truth when no one is applauding. Character is promises kept when no one is counting. Character is agreements honored when the clause favors you to escape. Character is what your house knows about you that your platform will eventually discover. Let me give you a picture. A scalpel is a sharp instrument. In the hand of a surgeon with character, it cuts tumors. In the hand of a thief, it cuts throats. The problem is not the sharpness. The problem is the hand. Your mind can be as sharp as a scalpel, but if your character is criminal, you will make incisions in people and call it leadership. Write this down. A sharp mind without a safe container cuts people. A sharp mind within a safe container cuts problems. That is why some of you keep leaving meetings with casualties instead of solutions. You are using your gift to win, not to heal. Steel without clay is a sword in a toddler's hand. Steel with clay is a plow in a farmer's grip. Same metal, different mission, different outcome. What then is strong character? Precisely. Let me define it in the mirror of your Monday, not the poetry of Sunday. Strong character is when your browser history matches your public holiness. Strong character is when your expense report matches your stated values. Strong character is when your calendar honors your vows to your spouse and your children before it serves the vanity of your brand. Strong character is when you keep your word without a lawyer present. Strong character is when you tell the truth, even if it empties the room. The scripture says, he that rules his spirit is greater than he that takes the city. Rule your spirit. That means your appetites don't manage you, you manage them. It also says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So write this down. Stability in public requires integrity in private. I must issue the warning label because I love you. If the container cracks, you are disqualified from leading until it is repaired. Don't argue with that. Don't negotiate with it. Don't plead your gifting as bail. When the vase that carries the water is fractured, you don't keep pouring. You stop, you seal, you submit it to the potter. That is why when you fail, I tell you, run for cover. Shut your mouth. You are disqualified for a season, not because God hates you, but because people must be safe while the container is being mended. Forgiveness from heaven can be instant. Restoration of trust on earth is test over time. Protect the account by refusing to spend trust while you are leaking. Let me press this deeper with a contrast you will not forget. Write it down. Accuracy without integrity is cruelty. Brilliance without boundaries is abuse. Clarity without compassion is terrorism of the soul. When your mind like steel slices people to prove you are right, you are wrong, because love is the law of leadership. Jesus said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. That means your words under stress reveal your material. If your heart is clay in the potter's hands, your mouth will be seasoned with grace even when your mind is slicing through deception. We need leaders whose minds cut lies and whose hearts care for liars. That is the balance. How do you know if you have a heart like clay? Ask yourself 3 questions. 1, who can correct you without losing your friendship? 2, When truth confronts you, do you justify or do you adjust? 3, do you repent quickly or do you wait until you are caught? Write this down. Teachability is the thermostat of character. If you stop learning, you start hardening. And a hardened heart will eventually shatter under heat. The wise man builds on a rock, Jesus said. Rock is not stubbornness. Rock is obedience to what you heard. Clay heart, rock foundation, soft to the potter, unshakable to the storm. Now, lift this statement with me like a banner over your life. Read it, go. Character is the container that makes a powerful mind safe for people. Again, slower. Character is the container that makes a powerful mind safe for people. If you forget everything else, don't forget that. Build your mind until it rings like steel, but bind it to a container that refuses to leak. Decide your non-negotiables before the test. Set your guardrails before the journey. Choose your submission before your success. And every morning, say to your gift, you will not lead me, you will serve them. That is the sound of a mind like steel inside a heart like clay. Protect the account. Now we wire the whole system. Write this sequence down and memorize it. Don't trust your memory. Write it. Law shapes values. Values inform morals. Morals train the conscience. Read it back to me. Go. Law shapes values. Values inform morals. Morals train the conscience. Again, slower. Law, values, morals, conscience. This is the wiring that holds power. If you cut any wire, your gift starts sparking and people get burned. Let's define law so we stop playing with words. Law is the explicit standard a community codifies to protect what it prizes. Whenever a people create a law, they have identified a value they refuse to negotiate. Speed limits exist because we value life and limbs. Building codes exist because we value human safety more than developer shortcuts. Financial disclosure rules exist because we value fairness more than insider advantage. The law of the Lord is perfect, restoring the soul. That means God's law doesn't just punish, it repairs. It tells you what He values and creates fences to protect it. Write this down. Law is love shouting its priorities in public. Law interprets values and establishes values. Now values are what we collectively declare to be worth guarding at cost. If a society says marriage is sacred, it writes vows, codifies protections, and treats infidelity as a fracture, not a fad. If a company says honesty is supreme, it refuses revenue earned by deception. It would rather lose money than lose meaning. Israel's ancient law protected gleaning for the poor because the community valued dignity over greed. Leave margins in your field, the law said, because your values say people matter more than profit. Values answer, what is precious to us? And law answers, how do we protect it? Where there is no revelation, the people cast off restraint. Translation, if a community loses sight of what is precious, boundaries evaporate and chaos follows. Write it down. Values are the precious things. Law is the protective case. Then morals. Morals are your personal choices, aligning your behavior with the values under the eye of law. Morals are not moods. Morals are decisions that mirror the code. If life is a value and speed limits are the law, a moral person doesn't text while driving when no police are around. If generosity is a value, and tithing or budgeting is the structure a moral person allocates before they indulge. Morals take the general value in the public law and translate them into private habits. Remember, he that rules his spirit is greater than he that takes a city. Morality is the rule of your own spirit, consistent with your stated values. Write it down. Morals are the daily yes and no that keep your soul congruent. Finally, conscience. Conscience is internal law, your quiet judge trained by the standards you submit to. Conscience is unspoken law. Law is the law shouting at you. Your conscience is not automatically holy. It is educated by the laws and values you ingest. If you feed it lies, it will become a skilled liar on your behalf. Paul said, some have a seared conscience, burned nerves that feel nothing. How do you sear a conscience? By repeatedly choosing morals that contradict true values until the alarm stops sounding. If you pull the battery from your smoke detector because the sound annoys you, the fire still kills you. Don't live with a disarmed conscience. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. That means God's law is supposed to train your inner lamp, not your moods, not your market, not your hormones. Let me show you how this works in the wild. Fictional but familiar. A rising executive rewrites the travel policy. He adds a line, incidental hospitality at the discretion of the client lead. Sounds harmless. But his real value is not integrity, it is access. The new law he authors licenses his appetite. His morals follow late dinners, blurred receipts, blurred lines. His conscience learns new vocabulary. It stops saying adultery and starts saying business development. He did not lose his conscience. He re-educated it under a false law. Write this down. The law you choose determines the conscience you carry. You are either protected by truth or policed by a pet you train to sit when sin enters the room. If that is you, you are disqualified from leading until your constitution is rewritten under God, not under your appetite. Run for cover. Shut your mouth. Don't defend a policy you built to excuse yourself. Now, bridge this to your mind like steel. Conviction is only unbreakable when it is rooted in standards bigger than your emotions. Opinions wobble, laws hold. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. That is the secret. Hide the law in the heart so the conscience has a sword, not a spoon. Jesus faced appetite, fame, and power, and he did not argue philosophy with the tempter. He said, it is written, law, values, morals, conscience. The King of Kings modeled submission to a higher standard. If the Son anchors his mind to revealed law, who are we to wing it with vibes and feelings? Write this down. A mind is truly strong only when it is wired to objective standards that train the conscience. Read it back to me. Go. A mind is truly strong only when it is wired to objective standards that train the conscience. Practical steps, don't just shout, build. 1. Adopt a constitution, not a mood board, a constitution. God's word is the supreme law. Start there. 2. Identify the top 10 values that law reveals for your life, your home, your organization, life, truth, fidelity, stewardship, justice, mercy, rest, honor, dignity, accountability. Write them. 3. Codify them into house rules and organizational policies that protect those values. If honor is a value, create boundaries for communication. No gossip, no anonymous assassination. 4. Translate those into personal morals, what you will do and will not do in the dark. 5. Train your conscience. How? Daily exposure to law. Meditate day and night so your inner judge speaks with Scripture's accent, not with social media slang. Give your conscience allies trusted authority with the right to correct you when your inner judge goes soft. Stop using the term, trust me. Show me your constitution. Show me your values in writing. Show me the morals lived for 90 days in private. Then the community will say, we trust you. Test over time equals trust. One more truth to photograph in your mind. Read this for me, go. Whenever you create a law, you freeze a value in place. Photograph that. Create the right laws for your soul, or your emotions will create the wrong ones for your appetites. Blessed is the man who delights in the law of the Lord, who meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by rivers of water. That is a mind like steel, rooted, nourished, unshakable when the wind howls. And the fruit of that life is safety for people. We are going somewhere next. If law, values, morals, and conscience are the wiring that holds your power, then trust is the electricity that runs through it. Trust is the currency of leadership. And your account rises and falls on whether this wiring holds under heat. Protect the account by protecting the wiring. Now breathe, write it again, and get ready. We are about to read your hidden balance sheet. Open your ledger. We are not guessing anymore. We are counting. Write this down. Trust is the currency of leadership. Read it for me. Go. Trust is the currency of leadership. That means influence does not run on your ideas, your charisma, or your resume. It runs on your balance of credibility. You have an account of trust, and it lives in two places, public and private. Same account, two windows. People are not listening to your speeches. They're reading your statements. Not your press releases, your bank statements of integrity. Every day you are either making deposits or withdrawals. Protect the account. Let me teach you the system. Deposits first. Write this down. Deposits are made by time under testing, alignment in private with your public claims, promises kept, and truth told at cost. Test over time equals trust, not test over minutes, over seasons. Faithfulness when nobody is clapping is a deposit. When you say, I'll be there, and you are there, deposit. When your policy says one thing and your practice says the same thing, deposit. When you tell the truth and it costs you friends, money, or likes, massive deposit. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. That's a deposit. He who walks in integrity walks securely. That security is balance in the account. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Why? Because a good name is hard currency. Riches can be counterfeit. Understand this. Small, boring consistency is the compound interest of trust. You think the big conference built your credibility, the Quiet Tuesday did. Showing up on time, returning what you borrowed, paying invoices without a reminder, shut doors that stay shut when you said they would. Boring? No. Banking. The Father sees in secret, and what He sees, He rewards in the open. But don't twist that. The reward is not applause. The reward is permission. Permission to be heard when storms rage. When trouble strikes, people run to the one whose account is solvent. That is leadership. Now, withdrawals. Write it down. Withdrawals are contradictions, concealed appetites, and manipulation. Read it for me. Go. Withdrawals are contradictions, concealed appetites, and manipulation. When your platform says honor, but your private text degrade, withdrawal. When you preach fidelity and flirt in the DMs, withdrawal. When you borrow truth to sell image, withdrawal. Spin is overdraft protection for fools. The fee is your future. There is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed. If you are managing optics instead of obeying conscience, you are spending trust you don't have. And hear me, what took you 20 years to build can be lost in 20 seconds of unguarded appetite. Don't clap, calculate. Let me add two dangerous fees in this economy. One, delayed obedience. You think, I'll fix it later. Later is a thief. Every hour you postpone a right action charges interest. Two, borrowed credibility. You try to stand on another person's name while your account is thin. That is fraud. The community will eventually reconcile your books. Your spouse is an auditor. Your staff are auditors. Your enemies are auditors. Heaven is the chief auditor. David said, search me, O God. Why? Because the only safe leader is the one who invites audit before scandal demands it. Write this down. Invite audit to avoid exposure. Now I'm going to make a rule, and it is non-negotiable. Stop using the term trust me. Retire it today. Why? Because trust me is a check written on a maybe. From now on, replace trust me with proof. Say, here is the policy. Here is the boundary. Here is the audit trail. Here are the receipts. Here is my calendar. Here is my mentor's phone number. Call them. Here are my passwords in the custody of my accountability partner. That is leadership language. You don't demand trust, you demonstrate trustworthiness. By their fruit you will know them, not by their phrase, trust me. Protect the account. Practical now, daily instructions. Write it down. Every decision is a transaction against your future permission to be believed. Before you act, ask 4 questions. 1. Does this decision align with the Constitution I adopted from God's law? 2. If this hits the front page tomorrow, would I be at peace? 3. Does this protect the weak or exploit them? 4. Does this make a deposit with my spouse, my children, my team, and my God? Read this one for me. Go. Every decision either funds or drains my permission to lead. If it drains, don't do it. If you already did it, confess immediately. Early confession is cheaper than late exposure. Whoever conceals his sins does not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes finds mercy. Mercy is not money, but it stops the bleeding and allows deposits to resume over time under authority. We will come to that path, but hear the wisdom now. Don't let pride add fees. Let me show you the ledger in the story. Fictional, but you know him. A founder with a silver tongue builds a brand on transparency. He does podcasts about honesty in private. He edits the numbers, calls it rounding, upgrades himself on the company card, calls it morale, and begins relationship building after midnight. Deposits in public, massive withdrawals in private. The market keeps buying his narrative. The balance looks strong because deposits continue from publicity. Then an intern, a receipt, and a late night photo hit the light. The bank freezes access. His statement goes out, trust me, this is taken out of context. No, sir. Context is the sum of your habits. He is not destroyed by the photo. He is exposed by the math. You cannot print trust in a crisis. There is no central bank for credibility. When the account is overdrawn, the system locks you out. You are disqualified for a season at least until there have been new deposits over time verified by a higher authority than your PR team. Run for cover. Shut your mouth. Stop talking. Protect the people while the account is rebuilt. Let me encourage the humble and warn the clever. If you are building slowly, invisible to the crowd, do not despise the day of small deposits. God sees. People will one day say, we trust you, not because you demanded it, but because test over time equaled trust. And if you are clever, able to out-talk consequence, hear the prophet in me. God can fire you and people think you are still hired. They will clap while heaven has revoked your license. Fear that. Let the fear of the Lord be the beginning of your accounting wisdom. So here is our closing confession for this section. Write it, say it, live it. I will protect the account. I will stop saying trust me and start living transparently. I will choose deposits, consistency, kept promises, truth at cost, over withdrawals, contradictions, hidden appetites, and spin. I will invite audit before exposure. I will remember that a good name spends farther than a loud brand. And when in doubt, I will choose the action. I would be happy to have my children watch on replay. That is how a leader buys tomorrow's influence today. Protect the account. Write this down and read it for me. Go. Appetite, fame, power. Again, louder. Appetite, fame, power. These are the three examinations that break brilliant people. Not stupid people, brilliant people. If you cannot pass appetite, fame, and power, your mind's brilliance will only accelerate your fall. That still mind will become a speeding train with no brakes, and people will be the casualties. Protect the account. First test, appetite, food, drink, and sex. The test of restraint. Can you say no to yourself when no one is monitoring? He that rules his spirit is greater than he that takes a city. Write this down. If your stomach is your God, you will sell your birthright for stew. Esau did. If your tongue is untamed, wine will rewrite your wisdom in public. If your loins are unruled, you will trade a dynasty for a night. Joseph passed the test in a house with no cameras. How can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? That was not about Potiphar. That was about principle. Jesus passed it in the wilderness when hunger was legal. Man shall not live by bread alone. Appetite is not evil. Appetite is a servant. When it becomes your master, you are disqualified until you regain dominion. Practical travel policies that protect you from yourself. Don't eat where your vows grow weak. Don't drink what loosens your boundaries. Don't text after midnight. Disable private threads that turn into private rooms. Assume there is a camera in the corridor and behave like God is in the corridor, because he is. I was told by a security minister, if you take your battery out, they can still hear you. Whether that's myth or mastery, here's the point. Live like someone is listening, because someone is. Integrity is safer than secrecy. Second test, fame, praise, spotlight, platform. The test of humility, can you hand attention back to mission and team? Saul failed this test when the women sang. He loved songs more than service and turned into a spear thrower. David learned to send the glory upstairs. The battle is the Lord's. John the Baptist set the policy. He must increase, I must decrease. Write this down. Applause is a drug. Dose it with silence. If you cannot fast from posting your wins, your ego is feeding on the mission. Try this for 30 days. Credit others publicly. Confess your team's brilliance by name and take the smallest chair. If you must be introduced, let someone else do it and shorten the bio. Measure your day, not by mentions, but by mission, movement. When the spotlight finds you, bounce it. Say, our team, our partners, our God. If you center yourself, you are already becoming unsafe. Stop saying my vision, say the vision. Leaders who hoard credit will one day hoard truth. The community will stop believing you, not because you lied, but because you made the mission serve your mirror, protect the account. Third test, power. Control, resources, access. The test of stewardship. Do you serve people or use them? Jesus said, all power is given unto me. And then he knelt and washed feet. That's the blueprint. Write this down. Power is a tool for protection, not a toy for ego. Your budget is not your candy. It is the community's trust. Your key card is not consent. It is responsibility. Your title is not a license to be obeyed without question. It is a call to be imitated without fear. Never punish dissent, refine it. Never buy silence, invite truth. Never weaponize payroll, bless with it. Nehemiah refused the governor's allowance so the people would not be burdened. That is stewardship. If you are using contracts to trap, NDAs to bury sin, favors to groom loyalty, and threats to maintain control, you are not a leader, you are a tyrant with a microphone. You are disqualified until the authority you submit to says the people are safe again. If you are faithful in little, you will be entrusted with much. Faithful means measurable, reviewable, humble under audit. Let me stitch these together with a scene you know too well. A young leader with a steel mind begins to travel. Appetite whispers in the hotel hallway, no one will know. Fame applauds online, you are the moment. Power opens doors, you don't wait, others wait on you. He starts taking dinner alone with a subordinate to mentor. Orders a second drink to relax. Flirts because it's harmless. Posts a humble brag because the message must spread. Bypasses procurement because we must move fast. Each choice small. Each choice a withdrawal. Surveillance is neutral. It just collects. One day it plays the footage back, not to destroy him, but to show him the math. He is exposed by arithmetic, not accusation. Read this one for me. Go. Context is the sum of your habits. If that context indicts you, run for cover. Shut your mouth. Stop the tour. You are disqualified for a season. Silence is not guilt. It is wisdom. Protect the people while the account is rebuilt. Crisis instruction, write this as policy for your soul. 1. Pause your platform the moment you feel heat rising in any of the 3 tests. Not tomorrow, now. 2. Seek counsel under true authority who fears God and loves truth more than your brand. Identify them before the crisis. Submit when it comes. 3. Be silent. No explanations. Don't justify. Don't spin. Let another praise you when it's time. Until then, shut your mouth. 4. Confess specifics to authority. Put names, dates, receipts on the table. Hand them your devices, your passwords, your calendar. 5. Install guardrails. No private meetings with those you are attracted to. 2. Signatures for discretionary spend. 0 alcohol if it weakens your no. Travel with an armor bearer who tells you no. 6. Replace platform with service. Scrub floors. Serve widows. Tutor kids. Let power return to its proper purpose. 7. Let the authority determine timing. Forgiveness is instant with God. Restoration of trust is test over time. Don't touch the microphone until the auditor says the account has enough for the wait. Why these 3 tests? Because they are the wilderness exams. Jesus faced appetite stones to bread. Fame jumped for angels and applause. Power bow and received the kingdoms. He answered each with law. It is written. He exited the wilderness in the power of the Spirit. That is the pathway. Restraint, humility, stewardship, anchored to law, producing safe power. Write this down and read it back to me. Go. If I cannot pass appetite, fame, and power, My brilliance accelerates my fall. Again, slower. Let it brand your conscience. Then add this. If I pass them by grace, God can trust me with people. So make a leader's confession now. I will schedule my appetites. I will not let them schedule me. I will starve my ego of cheap sugar and feed it silence and service. I will treat power as a loan from heaven for the protection of people, not as property to consume. I will assume surveillance and prefer integrity. I will pause before I post. I will seek counsel before I crash. I will submit before I speak. And if I ever fail, I will not restore myself. I'll return under authority. Protect the account. The exams are daily. Pass them, and God will trust you with more people to serve. Fail them, and shut everything down until your container is sealed again. That is love for the flock. That is leadership. Now we forge the instrument. Write this down and read it for me. Go. A fearlessly clear mind is built by disciplined thinking, anchored to convictions that outlast applause. Again, slower, because your future needs to hear it. A fearlessly clear mind, disciplined thinking, convictions that outlast applause. We are not talking about cleverness. We are building steel that does not corrode in heat. Protect the account. Conviction crafting begins with covenant, not vibes, constitution. Take the law, values, wiring we built, and hammer out your non-negotiables. 10 lines. I will, and I will not. Not to impress the internet, but to instruct your conscience. Example, I will tell the truth at cost. I will not take secret money. I will protect the weak in every decision. I will not be alone with temptation. I will obey Sabbath for renewal. I will not outsource my integrity to PR. I will honor marriage vows. I will not punish dissent. I will steward budgets for people, not ego. I will not sell tomorrow for today. Put them on paper. Photograph them. Put them in your wallet, your notes, your bathroom mirror. Read them under pressure. When you are hungry, when you are praised, when you are offered power, read them out loud. It is written, David said, I have set the Lord always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Set the law before you, not after the decision. Write this down. If you don't pre-decide, you will post regret. Next, rigorous thinking without a hard heart. Iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Study widely. Leaders who only read themselves become mirrors with microphones. Read history to humble your novelty. Read law to respect boundaries. Read economics to understand stewardship. Read theology to fear God. Read biographies to learn the price of shortcuts. Debate respectfully. Build a circle that can disagree with you without punishment. If you are always right in your room is wrong. Submit your ideas to critique so your logic hardens, but your heart stays clay. Write this down. Harden your reasoning, soften your ego. Rebuke a wise man and he will love you. If correction makes you violent, your mind is not strong, it is brittle. Appoint a devil's advocate for every major decision. Their job is to puncture your idea before reality does and say thank you. That thank you is a deposit in your humility account. Now focus habitly. You cannot build steel with scattered fire. Redeem the time. Time block deep work. 1 90-minute block daily for thinking without interruption. Phone in another room. Notifications off. Single task. When you study, study. When you pray, pray. When you meet, meet. Multitasking is a polite word for divided loyalty. Audit distractions every Sunday night. List your time thieves. Doom scrolling. Open email windows. Meetings without agendas. Constant notifications. Put law on them. Office hours for email. Twice a day. Social media. A gate, not a river. Meetings. Start with purpose, end on time. Build a weekly review where you evaluate your attention like money. Where did I spend it? Did that spending serve mission, values, and people? Write this down. Attention is the anvil. Repeated focus is the hammer. That is how minds turn to steel. Stress. Inoculation next. Do not meet Goliath with a fresh sling. Practice in the field. Rehearse high-stakes scenarios while you are calm. Decide your response to flattery. threats, and bribes before they arrive. Write scripts and say them out loud. Flattery. Thank you. The glory belongs to God. The credit belongs to the team. Back to the agenda. Threats. We obey God rather than men. If compliance means compromise, we decline. Bribes. No, we don't do backdoors. Please put it in writing and copy legal. Practice standing up, collecting your papers, and walking out. Daniel purposed in his heart before the king's delicacies were served. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego rehearsed their line. Our God is able, but even if he does not, we will not bow. That is inoculation. Read this for me. Go. Predecision prevents panic. When the pressure spikes, your mouth will speak what your heart has stored. Store law now. Humility drills. Schedule them. Not when you feel humble, when your calendar says so. Once a month, host a listening session with your team, your spouse, your core stakeholders. Rule: you cannot defend yourself. You cannot explain yourself. You cannot correct the narrative. You only ask clarifying questions, take notes, and say thank you. James says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry. After 24 hours, respond with actions, not alibis. Publish what you will change. Put dates next to promises. Invite follow-up critique in 30 days. If you can't listen without arguing, your mind is starving for oxygen and your ego is eating your lunch. Write this down. Listening is leadership's X-ray. It shows fractures before they break in public. Shut your mouth and learn. Guard your identity while you build your intellect. Tie your worth to purpose and principle, not to performance metrics or public applause. Remember Jesus before one miracle, before one sermon. A voice from heaven said, you are my beloved Son. In you I am well pleased. Identity before achievement. If you anchor your value to applause, you'll chase noise and call it calling. Set your mind on things above where Christ is. Say these lines over your soul. I am a steward, not a star. I am measured by faithfulness, not by fans. I am called to protect people, not to perform for them. I exist to obey God's law and serve his values in this generation. Read it again. When the numbers dip and critics shout, those words keep your compass true. Write this down. Applause is weather. Identity is climate. Do not relocate your soul for a storm. Let me give you a fiction that tells the truth. A young strategist, brilliant and quick, loves the fireworks of crisis. He hops from ping to ping, proud of being available. He reads the headlines, not the books. He has no non-negotiables written. He has slogans. Flattery feels like fuel. Threats make him theatrical. A donor offers a gift with expectations. He improvises and smiles. He compromises one line because the mission must move. Months later, his mind is foggy, his team is wary, and his decisions wobble with the wind. He is not wicked, he is undisciplined. Steel minds are not born. They are forged on the slow anvil of habits. He repents, adopts a constitution, time blocks thinking, rehearses no in the mirror, and sits silent while his team lists blind spots. Slowly, the fog lifts. The same brilliance, now harnessed by convictions, becomes safe for people. Test over time equals trust. Practical assignment for your week. Write it down. 1. Draft your 10 non-negotiables under God's law and your declared values. 2. Schedule a daily 90-minute deep work block and protect it like your child. 3. Choose 2 books this quarter outside your comfort zone. 1 on law or ethics. 1 on history. And appoint an accountability partner to discuss chapters weekly. 4. Write your scripts for flattery, threats, and bribes. Practice them with a colleague. 5. Book a listening session this month. You will not defend yourself. 6. Record your identity confession and read it every morning before you check a metric. Read this for me. Go. Conviction before calendar. Focus before noise. Obedience before optics. Protect the account. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect. Prove it where it counts under heat, under praise, under pressure. A fearlessly clear mind is not loud. It is anchored. It does not need an audience to act right. It answers with, "It is written," not "I feel like." Build that mind now, and when the storm arrives, you will not improvise sin, you will execute conviction, and the people will be safe. Take a breath and lean in. We forged the mind, now we must seal the container. Write this down and read it for me. Go. Character becomes durable when guardrails are pre-decided, supervised, and obeyed in the dark. Again, slower. Pre-decided, supervised, obeyed in the dark. If you wait for heat to choose your boundaries, you are already bargaining with disaster. Protect the account. Begin with a boundary covenant. Not feelings policy, not intentions agreements. 3 domains, write them in ink. Money, sex, and power. Put the rules on paper, sign them, and hand them to an authority who can confront you. Money first. My rules. 2 signatures for every discretionary spend over a set limit. 0 personal use of company funds. No rounding. No "I'll pay it back." All honoraria and gifts above a threshold go to the organization, not my pocket. Quarterly external review of my expenses by someone who cannot be fired by me. My salary band is known to the board before it's known to me. No cash in envelopes, ever. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If the receipts cannot preach the gospel of truth, you are disqualified from touching the budget. Sex next. My rules. Never be alone, physically or digitally, with someone I am attracted to or who is vulnerable under my influence. Meetings in glass rooms or public spaces. No private DMs with flirt potential. Device filters installed and monitored by my overseer. My spouse or accountability partner has full access to my devices and locations. No travel alone when fatigue is high. After tempe, no pastoral counseling. No late night empathy that becomes intimacy. Joseph left his coat and ran. Better to lose an outfit than your office. Power third. My rules. I do not hire or fire alone. Every personnel action sits under written criteria and documented process. I do not punish dissent. I submit major decisions to review by peers who can veto me. I recuse myself where I have a conflict. I use NDAs to protect trade secrets, never to bury sin. Jesus said, "Let it not be so among you. Whoever would be great must be servant." Put that in your policy. If you cannot sign these without a twitch, your container is already leaking. Now, the accountability architecture. Write this down. Identify a true and reliable authority who fears God, is not impressed by you, and is not on your payroll. Read it for me. Go. This person or team gets keys, not courtesy. You grant them access to your calendar, your spending, your travel, and your devices. Real access. Live location sharing when you travel. Monthly bank and credit card statements. Flight and hotel itineraries in their inbox before you board. Your browser history visible to them. Your meetings audit ready with names, purposes, and locations. You sign an accountability agreement that states their right to interrupt, inspect, and if necessary, insist you stop. They can walk into your office unannounced and ask, "Where were you last night?" And you answer with data, not drama. You commit to a standing meeting every 30 days to review the covenant metrics, not vibes metrics. Did you meet alone? Did you receive gifts? Did you adjust policy midstream? If you bristle at this, pride is already prosecuting you. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Safety is a sealed container. Speech discipline. This one will save your life. When you are wrong, shut your mouth. Write it down. Refuse self-justification. Confess, apologize, and outline restitution without spin. Read this one for me. Go. James says, confess your faults one to another that you may be healed. David did not say, Bathsheba and I had a complicated moment. He said, I have sinned against the Lord. That's the template. Here's your script when you fail. 1, I was wrong. 2, I am sorry. 3, it harmed these people in these ways. Name them. 4, here is the restitution and the repair plan. Specific, costed, and time. 5, here are the guardrails I am submitting to. 6, I submit to the timing and discretion of my authority for any return to leadership. No but Know if you understood. No weather reports about your stress. Let your words be few. If you talk long, you will lie. Your apology must be shorter than your offense list and longer than your excuses. And remember, forgiveness is instant with God. Restoration of trust is test over time. Shut your mouth. Protect the account. Rituals of secrecy, integrity. Now, write this down. Calendar your values before you. Calendar your visibility. If it is not on your calendar, it is not a value. It is a slogan. Put family, rest, and service in ink, and let platform live in pencil. Sabbath is not a suggestion. It is a law that keeps you human. Put it on repeat weekly, non-negotiable. Date night on the books. Your children's events on the books. Quiet with God on the books. Service without selfie on the books. Jesus often withdrew to lonely places to pray. If he needed hidden alignment, you needed more. Your calendar becomes your conscience's ally. Once a week, sit down with your spouse or accountability partner and match your declared values with last week's actual schedule. Did your time confess your press release? If not, repent in your planner. Move budgets. Cancel meetings. Add service. Schedule anonymity. Your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. The reward is not a bigger stage. It is a stronger soul. Consequence, memory, fear, your own capacity to be foolish. Write this down. Wisdom remembers pain it didn't have to feel. Once a month, review one case study of a fall. Not to gossip, to learn. Ask 5 questions. What law was violated? Which values betrayed? Which morals ignored? What conscience silenced? And what were the micro compromises that laid the path? Calculate costs, marriages, children, staff, jobs, donor, trust, mission delay, the name of God. Weep if you must. Then say 1 Corinthians 10:12 out loud. Let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. And read Proverbs 7 like a mirror. Solomon looked out the window and watched a simple young man walk toward a trap at twilight. Close the blinds on your twilight. When you feel strong, read your own discipline file. Keep holy fear alive. Fear is not your enemy, presumption is. Healthy fear is a fence around your future. Micro-honesty, the daily drills that train your reflex. Write this down and read it for me. Go. Tell the truth when it is cheap so you can afford it when it is expensive. Receipts submitted the same day. Mileage logged precisely, not approximated. If you overcharge, return it without being asked. Credit your sources by name, ideas, quotes, strategies. In board meetings, present raw numbers before narratives. No, round it for clarity. If you misstate a fact, correct it publicly where you said it. If your assistant does the work, say their name. If your team says your idea, give them the glory. In reports, separate assumptions from data. In sermons or speeches, cite authors. In emails, do not hide CCs to create shadows. Turn in reports on time without spin. Jesus said, he who is faithful in little is faithful also in much. Little truths build a big spine. The conscience learns by repetition. Train it. Policy for breach. Write this bold. If I break the covenant, I step down immediately and submit to authority until and unless they declare the people safe. You are disqualified from active leadership the moment your guardrails are breached, even if the ministry is growing. Do not hide behind fruit while the roots rot. Let those you appointed do their job. Better is a poor man who walks in integrity than one who is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Protect the people while the account is rebuilt. Now set this into motion with a simple commissioning of habits. Write it down. Boundary covenant, signed within 7 days. Money, sex, power, accountability, architecture, installed within 14 days. Authority named, access granted, review calendar set. Speech discipline practice this week. Rehearse your apology script with your overseer before you need it. Secrecy, integrity, calendared tonight's Sabbath. Family, anonymous service blocked for the next quarter. Consequence, memory, appointed monthly, case study, questions, costs. Micro-honesty drills daily receipts, credits, corrections. Read this one for me. Go. I will obey in the dark what I preach in the light. Again, I will obey in the dark. We seal the container not with slogans, but with supervised habits. Law becomes values. Values become morals. Morals train conscience. Conscience governs conduct when only God is looking. That is how your mind of steel becomes safe for people. That is how your account survives the storm. Make the vow. I will live under law, within guardrails, under authority. I will protect the account. And when the night comes, my habits will keep me holy. Now lean in. Even with guardrails, some of you will slip. The question is not if God will forgive that was settled at the cross. The question is whether the people will be safe under you again. Write this down and read it for me. Go. Forgiveness addresses guilt. Trust addresses credibility. These are not the same clock. Again, guilt, credibility, different clocks. You may be forgiven in a moment. You will be tested over months and sometimes years. Stop using the term trust me. You spent it. You cannot demand what you depleted. Trust is the currency of leadership. Protect the account by repaying it the right way. So what do you do the hour you slip? 3 words. Run for cover. Write this down. Step down. Speak up to authority. Shut your mouth in public. Immediately step down from decision making today. Not after the weekend conference. Announce your withdrawal to your board and overseer. Give them every document, every device, every schedule. Then shut your mouth. No interviews, no posts, no live videos to clarify. Explanations from you will sound like excuses. David said, I have sinned against the Lord. Full stop. Let your overseer speak. You are not your own press secretary when you are the crisis. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Submission is the bridge from forgiven to trusted. Read this one for me. Go. You cannot restore yourself. Trusted authority must walk you back. Choose your authority by law, not by loyalty. Criteria. Write it down. They must fear God. They must not be impressed by you. They must not be on your payroll. They must have a track record of telling the truth at cost. You will completely submit to their timing, their messaging, and their conditions for any return. Total means total. If they say stay silent, you stay silent. If they say repay, you repay. If they say not yet, it is not yet. Jesus looked at Peter and said, when you are restored, strengthen your brothers. Peter did not decide his own readiness. The Lord did. Authority governs timing. Silence is not cowardice. It is surgery. Your words are inflamed. Your overseer is the anesthesia. Let them represent you to the greater community. Why? Because people do not believe the man selling himself. Your overseer will protect the people first and you second, which is exactly why they can lead you back. Write this down. Let the authority carry the message so you can carry your cross. This is not theater. This is triage. Be still and know that I am God. Stillness is strength in a storm. Now, the rebuilding plan. Law, values, morals, conscience must be rewired. Where they failed, the plan must be measurable, not sentimental. Components, read them with me. Go. Restitution, counseling, spiritual care, graduated reentry, testing. Restitution, if you took money, return it with interest. If you damage reputations, publish your correction in the same place you lied. If you harm people, pay for their counseling and ask your overseer to facilitate healing. Not you. Counseling, professional and pastoral. Appetites, grief, trauma, narcissism. Do the scans. Take the medicine. Spiritual care, weekly. Pastoral meetings, daily. Scripture under supervision. Sabbath enforced. Graduated reentry. Start with anonymity and service, not with stage and spotlight. No microphone. No panel. No just sharing a testimony. Clean the building. Serve the poor. Sit in the back. Testing 3 tests. You know them. Appetite, fame, power. Your authority will simulate pressure and watch your reflex. Private lunches with temptations you once failed. Quiet commendations you must deflect without performance. Decision rights you must surrender without sulking. Pass in private before you are trusted in public. Write it down. Test over time equals trust. The timeline is not yours. If you ask how long, I will say, until your authority says the people are safe. Forgiveness is instant. Credibility is cumulative. Let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. Every month, your overseer will review the covenant, money, sex, power. They will document. They will ask your spouse questions. They will speak to your staff privately. They will monitor your browser and your budget. If this sounds invasive, good. Sin was invasive. Surgery must be deeper. Protect the account. Your public words, when permitted, will be short and specific. Here is the only statement you make under authority. I was wrong. I am sorry. This is how it harmed people. I am making restitution under the supervision of my overseer. I have stepped down from leadership and will not return unless and until my authority determines it is safe for the people. Stop there. No weather reports about pressure. No boasting about your tears. No Bible verses used as bandages for your brand. Forgiveness is not a PR strategy. It is a path to holiness. Let the process teach your community. Restoration done well is discipleship for everyone. Your overseer, not you, will use your case to strengthen policies, to train younger leaders, to set new guardrails. They may publish the restoration protocol. They may hold forums on accountability. They may adjust travel policies for the whole team. Do not resent that. That is your fall, serving others. Joseph said to his brothers, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. God can redeem your failure into wisdom for a generation if you do not hijack the process to save face. Let me give you a fiction to make it plain. A young executive pastor, call him Mark Brilliant, efficient, cut a corner in the budget just this once to cover a shortfall. No theft, he told himself, just a timing fix. Then a second adjustment. Then a private gift he forgot to report. When confronted by a junior accountant, he defended. The numbers came out. He stepped down the same day under protest at first. He called me to explain. I said, shut your mouth. You are disqualified from active leadership. Submit. He chose an overseer who was not on staff and could not be fired. Restitution was made, every penny cataloged. Counseling revealed a fear of man dressed as excellence. 9 months of silence. He served in facilities, wiped chairs, and arrived before dawn. Twice, his overseer simulated pressure, an envelope of cash for emergencies, a glowing introduction in a small meeting. He declined both without theater. After a year, his overseer let him teach a class on stewardship under supervision with his story told by the authority, not by him. 2 years later, he was back in operations without check signing power for another season. Today, he manages systems that protect others from his former shortcuts. Same mind, new container. Trust rebuilt, not demanded. Test over time equals trust. Read this for me. Go. Forgiveness today, trust tomorrow, authority in between. If you are in a fall right now, hear the mercy and the mandate. Run for cover. Step down. Call your authority. Hand over your keys, your passwords, your calendar. Confess without spin. Submit without timeline. Serve without spotlight. Allow the authority to represent you. And when the day comes, and it will come, if you walk this path, hear the words Jesus spoke to Peter. When you return, strengthen your brothers. There is life after the fall. Not because you are clever, but because you are covered. Protect the account while heaven and wise humans rebuild it. Then, when you stand again, you will be a safer gift to the people you were called to serve. Now we take this into your ordinary rooms. Write this down and read it for me. Go. Integrity is proven in ordinary systems long before it is tested in extraordinary crises. If you do not practice truth in Tuesday meetings, you will not find it on Thursday's headlines. If your calendar is corrupt, your character will be casual. Protect the account. Stop using the term trust me. Build systems that do not need it. Boardroom first. The table where numbers breathe and power moves. Law, values, morals, conscience must show up in your minutes. Write this down. Declare conflicts before you discuss. Recuse before you vote. Document dissent before you celebrate. Read it. Go. If your cousin's firm is bidding, you leave the room. Not because you are guilty, because you are guarding the people. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord. Put it in policy. All bids above a threshold require 3 competitive quotes, independent review, and signed conflict of interest forms on file. In the meeting, present raw data before narratives. If a projection is an assumption, label it. If a risk is material, say it. Never win a vote by bending the truth. You might win the day and bankrupt your tomorrow. Minutes must record dissent without punishment. Reward the board member who says, I disagree and here is why. That voice just saved your account. Test over time equals trust. So document over time equals credibility. If there is no paper, there is no proof. If there is no proof, there is no trust. Money, closely tied to this room, must be treated like nitroglycerin, powerful and dangerous. Separate personal and organizational funds by policy and practice. 2 signatures for discretionary expenditures over your preset limit. Quarterly external audits whose reports go to the board before they go to you. Refuse unreceipted favors. If someone slides you a discount because we love what you do, say, email the invoice with the line item. We will pay the public price. If there is no receipt, it is not a gift. It is leverage. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If your cash flow is clean, your conscience will sleep. If it is not, you are disqualified from touching decision rights until restitution and reformation are complete. Shut your mouth. Run for cover. Protect the account. Bedroom next. I am not talking about scandal. I am talking about schedule. Write this down. Protect your family calendar, travel guardrails, and digital openness. Loyalty at home stabilizes leadership in public. Read it for me. Go. Your home is your first boardroom. Your spouse is your first stakeholder. Your children are your first constituency. Put date night in ink. Attend the game, the recital, the dinner. Physically present, emotionally present, digitally silent. Travel guardrails. Never travel alone when fatigue is high. If you must, schedule check-ins at set times. Share your live location with your spouse and your overseer. Hotels, room on a floor near a team member, no late night visitors, no pastoral counseling after 10 p.m. Make no provision for the flesh. Digital openness. All devices accessible to your spouse or accountability partner. Location sharing on. Browsing history visible. Private messages reviewable. If you hide it at home, it will haunt you at work. The righteous man walks in his integrity. His children are blessed after him. Your legacy will not remember your quarterly earnings. It will bear your nightly commitments. Browser now. Your pocket pulpit. Your handheld courtroom. Write this down and read it to yourself. Presume permanence online. There is no delete. Screenshots do not need your consent. Your DMs are discoverable artifacts. Your drafts are not private. If you whisper to your phone, act like it will be preached on Sunday. Set device accountability filters, logs, and weekly reports sent to your overseer. No secret phones, no shadow accounts, no burner emails. Remember, conscience is unspoken law. Law is the law shouting at you. Let your browser shout holiness back at you. If a link would humiliate your future self, do not click it. If a message would embarrass your spouse, do not send it. If a joke tastes like death, spit it out. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Anything beyond this is from the evil one. Teams now the culture that either protects or poisons the account. Write this down. Reward truth tellers. Punish flattery. Promote those who challenge you without fear. If everyone in the room agrees with you, you are in a cult, not a company. Create a dissent ritual. One seat is assigned to argue the contrary position each meeting. No career cost for candor. Publicly thank the staff member who says, our numbers are off, or this policy can be abused, or you are traveling too much. Give them a bonus for saving you from yourself. Conversely, correct the flatterer who applauds everything you say. Flattery is the perfume that hides the odor of decay. Daniel served kings because he could tell the truth without trembling. Build Daniels, not parrots. And when you hire, choose those who fear God more than they fear you. Now a crisis drill. Write this down and read it for me. Go. Speed and honesty preserve trust. Here is your 2-4-hour integrity protocol for data breaches, rumors, or moral failures. Practice it before you need it. Hour 0, 1. Notify your authority. Freeze affected systems. Preserve logs. Remove access from implicated accounts. Hour 1, 3. Convene the crisis team, your overseer, legal, HR, communications, no spin. Establish facts. What, who, when, how much. Hour 3, 6. Draft a holding statement authorized by your overseer. We have identified a potential breach. Issue. We have secured systems. We are investigating under the supervision of authority. We will update within 24 hours. Publish to affected stakeholders first, staff, clients, donors. Hour 6:12. Complete a preliminary report. Identify scope. Begin restitution planning. If people are harmed, contact them directly. Pay for remediation where appropriate. Hour 12:24. Release an update with specific facts you can verify. Do not overpromise. Do not underdisclose. Your authority, not you, speaks for you if you are implicated. If the crisis is your moral failure, step down immediately. Surrender devices and shut your mouth. Be sure your sin will find you out. Better it finds you confessing than finds you denying. Practice this drill quarterly with your team. Fire alarms do not prevent fires. They save lives when the smoke comes. Let me give you a quick casework mosaic. Boardroom. Gloria chairs finance. Her brother's company bids on a facility upgrade. Before the RFP is open, she files a conflict disclosure, leaves the room during discussion and vote, and the minutes record her recusal. The contract goes elsewhere by merit. Result, even her brother trusts the process. Bedroom. Aaron's travel stretched him thin. He missed 2 recitals in a row. He and his spouse installed a red line. If he misses 2 family anchors in a month, he cancels the next trip unless the board approves. They shared the rule with his team. Morale rose. So did his marriage. Browser. Lila receives a flirt DM after a conference. She screenshots it, forwards it to her accountability partner and her spouse, and blocks the sender. Temptation died in daylight. Teams. Omyar leads product. He built a devil's advocate seat in every sprint review. Mistakes were caught in design, not in recall. Trust went up, costs went down. Crisis. A rumor swirls about a staff member's misconduct. Within 1 hour, access is suspended. Within 3 hours, the overseer is notified. Within 24 hours, stakeholders are informed of the investigation. The process protects the vulnerable, the accused, and the account. Read this one for me. Go. Ordinary systems carry extraordinary weight. Your boardroom policies, your bedroom priorities, your browser practices, these are the daily bricks that build a fortress of credibility. Walk in the light as he is in the light, and you will have fellowship and trust one with another. Protect the account before it is attacked. Practice truth when it is cheap, so you can afford it when it is costly. And if you fail, you already know the path. Run for cover. Shut your mouth. Submit to authority. There is hope for the honest. There is safety for the submitted. There is a future for the faithful. Now go home and put this in your calendar, your minutes, your devices today. Now we seal this. Write this down, and then we will read it together. A strong mind without character is a weapon. A strong mind with character is a shield. Read it for me. Go. Again, louder weapon or shield. Choose your identity. I am commissioning you today to be a shield. Not a celebrity, not a sensation, not a savior. A shield that makes people safe. Power that serves people requires a mind of steel inside a character that cannot crack. So here are the 3 commitments that become your covenant. Write them, say them, and put them on your wall. Number 1, I anchor my mind to law, values, morals, and conscience, objective standards above my feelings. Read it. Go. Law interprets values. Values define morals. Morals inform conscience. This is your wiring diagram. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law, God told Joshua. Your courage is not bare-chested madness. It is disciplined obedience to law-shaped values that govern your decisions when your emotions are drunk. Number 2, I will pass the 3 tests: appetite, fame, and power privately before I am trusted publicly. Read it. Food, drink, sex, applause and approval, decision, rights, and money. If you fail any, you are disqualified from leadership until time and testing say otherwise. Number 3, I will protect the account of trust daily in public and in private. Trust is the currency of leadership. Stop using the term trust me. Protect the account. Deposit truth, deposit time, deposit transparency. Now, practical obedience. Name your overseer now, not in theory, in your phone. Write this down. Choose one who fears God, who is unimpressed by you, who cannot be fired by you, and who tells the truth at cost. Read it for me. Go. Book the first meeting this week. Not after your next trip. Not after the gala this week. When you meet, hand them your boundaries and your reporting access. Devices open, budgets visible, travel, calendar shared, browser reports sent, spouse contact provided. If you say that feels invasive, good, it means it's surgery. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Safety is not a feeling, it is a structure. Schedule your weekly disciplines. 2 appointments that never move. Write it down. Mind forging and container maintenance. Mind forging study and reflection. 1 hour minimum. Scripture, superior thought, silence. Let law calibrate values. Let values correct motives. Let morals set pathways. Let conscience be trained by truth again. Meditate on it day and night so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will make your way prosperous. Container, maintenance, confession, and accountability. 1 hour minimum. Sit with your overseer or your accountability partner and answer the big 3: money, sex, power. Tell the whole truth. Confess fast. Repent thoroughly. And take corrective assignments. Above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. Your heart leaks. Refill it with light every week. Audit your platforms and policies for integrity friction points. Write this down and read it for me. Go. Eliminate anything that tempts you to fake strength. If a title makes you hide, remove the title. If a platform makes you pose, step back. If a policy lets you bypass process, just this once, rewrite it. If an app gives you shadows, delete it. Daniel resolved in his heart before the pressure came. Resolve now. Some of you need to remove late night posting rights. Some need to limit discretionary spending to amounts that require 2 signatures. Some need a public calendar visible to your team. Some need a travel buddy budget line because integrity is cheaper than scandal. Make no provision for the flesh. Don't feed what you plan to fight. Now, set your daily confession. Write it down and speak it. My mind serves the mission. My character protects the people. My account of trust is my greatest asset. I will not mortgage tomorrow to pay for today's applause. Read it again. Go. Then add this pledge. When I feel weak, I will not fake strength. I will ask for help. When I slip, I will run for cover. Shut my mouth and submit to authority. Repeat it. Heaven hears vows. People measure time. Let both align. Some of you are brilliant and brittle. Hear me as a father. Brilliance without boundaries produces casualties. If you feel that tremor in your soul when I say name your overseer, that is grace pointing you to a life raft. Delay is disobedience dressed as deliberation. Book the meeting. Protect the account. If you refuse, you are disqualified by arrogance, not by ignorance. Let me paint a picture and let it become a parable for you. There is a young woman called Tessa, founder of a tech nonprofit. A mind like a blade. She loved the cause but hated the calendar. Her team adored her ideas and feared her impulses. She came to this moment 2 years ago, wrote the 3 commitments, and dialed an overseer who had turned down her job offer twice. First meeting, she handed over her passwords, set 2 signature policies, and placed a standing Sabbath lockdown on her calendar with a board-level exception requirement. She moved her desk into a shared space for a season. Weekly, she studied Proverbs, met with her accountability partner, and submitted her travel list for scrutiny. The applause has grown since then, but she is quieter inside. The team sleeps. The account, full and growing. Why? A mind of steel inside a container that cannot crack. Test over time equals trust. Now lift your eyes and get your mouth ready. Read this commission line with me. Go. A strong mind without character is a weapon. A strong mind with character is a shield. I choose to be a shield. Say it again. Let it cut a covenant into your conscience. Weapons seek targets. Shields save lives. You will walk into boardrooms and slow the rush to foolishness. You will walk into bedrooms and choose covenant over convenience. You will open your browser and see through the trap before your thumb moves. You will carry power like a steward, not a star. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. You will see clearly because your heart is clean. Before I bless you, here are your immediate actions. Write them, do them, and send proof to your accountability partner. 1. Text your overseer candidate now with 3 times this week. 2. Block 2 weekly hours, mind forging, and container maintenance for the next 90 days. 3. Send your finance leader request to tighten 2 policies you already know are brittle. 4. Remove 1 platform feature tonight that flatters your ego and fogs your conscience. 5. Print your 3 commitments. Put them on your desk, your mirror, and inside your wallet. Read them before you sign anything, say anything, or send anything. Protect the account. Now I speak a blessing and a charge. May your mind be unbreakable, clear, disciplined, and fearless under truth. May your character be unbuyable, sealed, supervised, and steadfast in the dark. May your influence be undeniable because it is trusted, not because it is loud. May the fear of God be your beginning. The love of people be your boundary, and the wisdom of law be your way. When appetite whispers, may you answer with covenant. When fame beckons, may you bow to humility. When power offers shortcuts, may you choose submission. And when you slip, may your feet find the path we have written. Run for cover, shut your mouth, submit to authority until trust, tested over time, says the people are safe again. Go now, build the mind, guard the container, protect the account, be a shield. And when you return to your rooms, boardroom, bedroom, browser, let them testify the leader came back different. The mind is steel. The character will not crack. The currency is trust, and the balance is growing. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Leave here and make it safe to follow you.